All right. Welcome to sales meeting. Yeah, well, you know me, Rob. Good. You know better, Rob. Yeah, I've got an order here. Right. I'm saving it for your song. Okay. Did I not conduct all board of directors meetings the exact same way? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Courtney, you want to come on up? We are celebrating our May birthdays today. And Rob's birthday is yesterday, so we're gonna sing to Rob right now.
Here we go.
Yes.
That monotone. Look at what.
Yeah. I could sing you my dead version, one my aunt.
The Courtney's
It's
doing
a
this.
dying. I'll show you that one. All right. Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
dear Rob. Happy
Happy birthday to you.
Very much.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is that good, Tana, or is that bad? I didn't hear you chime in, by the way. You're muted.
I was
so.
singing. No, I was singing.
Okay, moving on. All right, we are at our wants and needs and celebrations. We're celebrating Rob today because he didn't tell us it was his birthday yesterday. Anything good going on? The market's picking up. Yeah, it's going good. Y'all don't have nothing to celebrate today?
Multiple offers still.
Yeah, Giselle? How'd that go? Okay.
Is it a single offer, multiple offers that you're dealing with?
That was a single offer, so it wasn't like.
I'm just curious to see if you can.
I'll let
Okay, good. Any like odd thing that you represent by yourself?
you say.
Okay, did you have to give things that were a little abnormal, or was it pretty normal negotiating against
That contract.
closing costs the buyer
Wasn't.
got? Okay, closing costs,
There you go.
good.
Sellers just don't have their way anymore. Yes.
Closing yesterday, but our appraisal came in like above what we like our numbers. So we were able to give more closing costs because the buyer came in with a higher offer after we got the appraisal.
Well, no.
So that was,
The appraisal came in, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
like these are townhomes and they'd all kind of sold at the same price for the last year.
Yeah.
So we priced it a little low. They gave us a little bit more to get their closing costs, and then the appraisal came in even 5,000 over that, so.
Good.
Good to see that's going up. Anybody online have anything you want to celebrate?
Crystal here. My mentee Walter just got his first transaction under contract. Pretty awesome. Pretty proud of him.
Congratulations. Is he
And it's
online?
a VA buyer.
Is Walter online?
Not anymore. He has to work.
Okay. Well, that's cool. All right. Anything else? Okay. Our education at a glance. We have lots of CE happening, so there's no reason to rush it at the end when your license is almost ready to renew. Okay. All right, and can't read this. How many closers do we have? Oh, we had does it say? Is it underneath that? Oh, there it is, 26. All right, so we're down a little bit. So it's kind of ebbing and flowing each week, right? It's starting to happen and then it picks back up. So congratulations if you're on this list of the closers. Okay. And then it's going to take us to our broker moment, and then we're going to turn that over to Rob. Oh, it's not. Let's go ahead and do broker moment because I think that slide's missing.
Okay. One thing we want to be mindful of, so when you are representing the buyer or seller, when are you primarily concerned about making sure earnest money gets turned in?
Not,
Represent the buyer or the seller?
not a trick question.
Fire.
Don't tell them that.
Okay. you're thinking normally if you represent the buyer, you want to make sure the earnest money gets turned in. If you represent a seller, do you want to make sure that the earnest money gets? Okay, so here's a trick question. If you're, doesn't matter if you represent the buyer or the seller, you want to make sure that earnest money gets turned in. We had a situation where the transaction, it was a $10,000 earnest money. The property, not this, the situation wasn't here in Presidio, it just it was one that was in the selling board, but there was they went all the way to closing and the buyer backs out. And the seller, of course, wanted the earnest money, it was never turned in. And so now they're trying to, the seller now has to try to get that earnest money from the buyer, and it's of course not very easy. So this was also something that division put in I think a newsletter, either this last newsletter or fourth quarter last year, but they make a very, they point out that it's the requirement of both the listing agent and the buyer's agent responsibility to make sure that that's being done. And that's our fiduciary to protect our clients to make sure that's happening. So if we are representing the buyer, of course, you want to make sure that the deadline is being met so that your client is not in default. At the same time, representing the seller to protect them, you want to make sure that earnest money is also being turned in. The contract does not say that you as the buyer's agent must provide a confirmation to the seller. It doesn't, it's not there. So if they don't provide you a receipt or confirmation that was ever turned in, the buyer's not in default. So that's why there's nothing that prompts it. It's a courtesy that it should be there. So just make sure that you're gathering information to avoid problem.
All right, any questions on that? Okay. All right, moving on to our announcements. Ninja, right? Early bird pricing ends May 15th. Ninja's coming up. It is a fantastic 4-day course that if you want to jumpstart your business, or if you're sluggish or you want to get going, especially with your SOI, this is the course you want to take. It's much more than just reading the book that you'll get, but it's all about how to get yourself motivated each day. It also has group settings that you'll be working in once you go through it. And so it's something that you don't want to miss. If you've never done this, this is something you want to do. And if you have done this already, I was talking to Clara today. She's the instructor who's going to be on it. And she was offering that if you have taken it, you can bring your workbook and still sit through it for free if you want to. But we need to get people signed up. We have a minimum amount that we need to have to bring it, and we're not even close to that. So talk to your agents as well, and let's get this going. You guys are the ones that requested it, and so we brought it, and we're the only company bringing it here in Utah this year. So we want to make it a success. Okay, Crystal, you have an announcement you want to do?
Yes, so Saturday, the May 13th at 9 a.m., we have our get together, I guess. Courtney can't be there this time because her husband is fighting in a MMA fight, which is pretty awesome. But 9 a.m., if you'll call me and you want to come, we're going to do a citywide scavenger hunt called Alice in Wonderland. And it takes place in the entire city of Provo. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We have 2 groups purchased. So we need some people to come and have some fun and do a scavenger hunt with me on Saturday at 9.
Is that kick off here at this office? They meeting here or what?
We don't know the start location until that morning when they text me. So
Okay.
I'm going to say, yes, we're going to meet at the office at 8:30.
So this is an organized thing. It's not something that you put together?
Yeah, I didn't put it together. It's a big company and they do it all over the place. And we signed up at the start of the year to do a scavenger hunt. So there you
And
go.
what does it cost the agents?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I'll even buy coffee and donuts.
Just time, right? Saturday
Yes.
morning.
Yes, probably about 2.5 hours. They say it will take us to complete it.
Okay, I'm pretty sure Rob will be there.
I hope so. I'd like Steve and Jen
He's
to
a
be
fun
there too,
guy.
but whatever.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
you
that's
can.
it. See you Saturday,
We'll
May
see.
13th.
Okay, thanks. Courtney, do you have something?
Yes. That date is wrong. Don't look at that date. Don't look at that date. I forgot. I'm in the middle of a move too. I forgot, just another update. We're doing Friday, June 16th, because there are more seats available there in the section that we want. So we're just gonna do that. I am gonna try and shoot for slicing strawberries at Saturdays or maybe Wednesday or Thursday. So once I get a hold of the director of Strawberry Days Rodeo, I'll have that. But I do have a Google form on Facebook. You can shoot me a text message if that's easier and I can send that to you. That's just for me to be able to account for how many tickets we do. We are purchasing 1 ticket per agent. You can scan this code with your phone and that will take you right to the Strawberry Day Rodeo ticket area that you can actually purchase your family's tickets. It should, so let me know if that doesn't work. So we are sitting in section K. We're gonna go kind of from the top to the bottom. If you do take your family, just as a little heads up, don't put your family in a row. Do like, if you have like little kids or something, I do 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, because it's bleacher style sitting. So you kind of get a little bit of leg room if you have littlers. You kind of do that instead of a row. It will get packed. It does get packed. So if you're claustrophobic, purchase the seats in front of you as well. So, thank you.
All right, cool, thanks. All right, we're gonna start with those that are online today, and Mike with Two Man Movers. Let's hear from you.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, Mike Simmons, owner of Two Man Movers and Storage. We're a full service moving and storage company with global reach. We no move is too small or too large for us. We do everything from packing the boxes to moving people wherever they want, including our storage warehouse if that becomes a need. We're actually doing Jennifer Yo's move right now as we speak. So, and it's our 3rd time taking care of Jennifer and Darren. They've been happy with us, so you guys can check with them how we do. So if anyone wants to get their clients to get an estimate, it's best just to go to our website or call our office, and we have estimators all over that cover the state, and depending on their address, we'll match them up with the right person. So Mike with Two Man Movers and Storage.
Cool, thanks. So yes, that is why Jen isn't here. She's getting her stuff moved out of storage into her new house. Secret's out. All right, Sandra with a claimed home warranty.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Just wanted to let you know, we're running a special this month. It's $50 off. It's a spring special on our ultimate plan. So if you're ordering an ultimate plan, we're going to offer that free, that $50 off. Plus there's a free rekey service that is included. So that is what we're offering this month. Let me know if you have questions. Love to work with you.
Cool, thanks. Mike Yancey, you have something you want to say? He's with Security National. Nope. Best lender ever. Can't hear you. Mike, nope, okay. Okay. Yeah, but I can hear you and I can't hear him and. Mike, you want to unmute? No, I mean, I could try, but I'll probably screw it up. Okay, we're gonna come back to you, Mike. You figure that out. We'll move to the other best lender, First Colony, who's live here in person.
Sorry, Mike, I get to go first, but I still love you. Okay. So I saw a lot of this graphic circulating in the last couple of weeks, and we've had a lot of agents call us asking what it's about. What is it?
Keep going.
Oh, okay.
Explain what it is.
They can't start it there. Anyways, so people are asking what this is in relation to. This is the LLPAs, or the low level price adjustments that we've been talking about. So we came and talked about it. I know I sat here in Security National talked about it. The media kind of blew it up recently because it took effect in May 1st, but honestly, that was delivery date to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So these have been in place for at least a few weeks, if not longer for us. A lot of lenders had to implement these early on because loans get delivered to Fannie and Freddie weeks after they close. So I also printed out this article. I mean, I'm seeing like not only this, but the White House decided to penalize people for good credit and reward others for bad credit. Well, I mean, kind of, but that's a little misleading, you know? So because in here, I printed out this article for you. It it explains how these LLPAs work a little bit better in layman's terms. And then it shows charts of the changes that took place and then what they actually are. And you still will have a higher hit if you have lower credit, but they did adjust how those are. And I mean,
What they do is gap used to be this way.
yeah.
They do incentivize those with the lower credit.
They reallocated it and it wasn't necessarily in a way that we all agree with or like, but yeah, they did reallocate how those are. So, and I've seen comments like these are FHA loans only. They're not. They're conventional loans. These are Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac only. So that's what these particularly relate to. So just make sure you're educated in what loans are really being affected by it. It's going to be your conventional loans. It's not your government loans, but these directly affect. So we did see changes take place. The DTI hit was extended to August. We're hoping they just do away with that altogether. The industry as a whole isn't really excited about the changes they made, but the DTI one would, with rates where they're at, that would really just add a whole other layer on top of it.
You're saying the media was misleading? I know.
Okay, Mike, you figured out?
Got it
You got
figured out. Sorry.
30 Go.
I'll kind of add to what Melissa just said too. You know, I've seen so
Wow.
much ridiculous stuff on the news, and really the loan level pricing affects the loan officer, I feel, more than borrowers, because those hits are taken out of our yield spread. You know, it just, I don't know, the news just doesn't make any sense to me how they're portraying it. So I'm agreeing 100% with Melissa.
Or Ally.
Oh, the Allie?
Yeah, it was Ally.
Oh, sorry,
I see
Allie.
Allie.
Love you. Sorry, Allie. Love you.
All right, thanks, Mike. All right, traveling title.
This has come up a couple of times in the last week. We typically, when we get information, buyers, sellers, we're looking at property, doing title reports. We will often ask for your client's birthday and last four of their social. Okay, and it's simply to clear them of anything that's out there. We just cleared one this morning for Presidio agent. Their client's name appeared on about a dozen judgments and federal tax liens and all kinds of things, but it wasn't their client. It was a combination of 3 other people with the same name. So again, we're gonna ask for it. We're gonna ask for it through you, and just as quick as we can get it, quick we can get those things done. So
Yep.
that client's taken care of, good to go. We'll just keep moving on. So it sounds like we ask a lot of things. We try not to go back and forth too much, but it helps in the long run.
Perfect, thank you. Silverback.
Yeah. So the weather's getting a little bit warmer right now. We got little fans for you guys here. Also remember AC tune-ups, good time to contact your clients about AC tune-ups. On our plan, it's just a service call fee of $60 to get that AC tune-up done. So we are also running a promotion right now for $50 off of our King Kong plan. So if you need somebody with the home warranty let me know. I can send you a link to make sure that you get that discount. But if you have any questions, let me know. Yes, it does. That's from Mason's. Yeah, and it really should. I know, certificate for the Mason. Thanks, that's a great idea. There's a partnership there.
Okay, Elevate, come on up.
30 seconds. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of that. Weather's warming up. We also did the AC tune-ups. If you have an Elevate home warranty, we'd love to do those AC tune-ups for you. Also, you're gonna be turning on your sprinklers. Sprinklers can be a pain in the grass, right? Yeah. And so we cover that actually. So yeah, you did see what I did there. So they're painting the grass, we cover that. So we're actually one of the only ones in Utah that covers sprinklers, outdoor sprinklers. So that's huge. It covers the sprinklers and also the timer. So we also do a bunch of on-demand services. We do sprinkler systems, window cleaning, carpet cleaning, pest control, garbage tank cleaning. So if you have your Elevate home subscription, you can get a lot of that on-demand services. Yeah. Out of here, I know, seriously, I can't either. So yeah, I'll personally go clean it.
Can you use that postcard as a fan?
You can use it for hands too.
Just saying. Yeah. Right. Right. Okay. Is OBO online? No? Okay. All right. We want to bring up Timbra, our very own Timbra, who is the guru of door knocking. And so come on up. We're going to turn time over to her and she's going to finish out with
Hey,
all her
Steve.
information about
Sorry.
door knocking. Yeah.
I was told to promote the class that's being done next Wednesday during this time. Afterwards, they are going to be doing agent pictures and shots. So for those
Good shots.
agents that want them done, they will be done after the sales meeting next
Sales
week.
meeting next week. Okay. Perfect. All right. Is that it? Thanks, Tana. Come on up, Timbra.
I don't need this.
Okay.
Is there a screen where I can see people?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll just change it up a little bit.
Now we can see everybody.
There, how's that?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm talking to.
You're good. And here's your main microphone.
Okay. I don't know anything about these fandangled contraptions. It's always fun when you get up to speak and then half the room clears out. So, I know that they weren't here to hear this, but still, it always feels super good when the whole back row just clears out. So my name is Timbra. Also, except for Rob, it's like boys in the back, girls are sitting at the table. It's kind of a funny thing. So my name is Timbra. I really appreciate everybody who's here today. I don't know if you're here to hear me, you should be, but or if you always come to the sales meeting. But I want to make sure that, you know, I know your time is valuable and I want to make sure that you get something for the time that you're here today. I know that when I'm at home, like this is the camera and it's always so weird, like looking down on somebody's head. So I might kind of look around a little bit. Who here is like always comes to the sales meeting? Just always comes just naturally. Okay. And who here is here for door knocking information or just didn't know that what the topic was? Okay, cool. All right. Thank you in the back. So we're going to talk through, I have just a really simple, where my handouts right here. Super simple handout if you just want to kind of like you seem energetic and like you want to run and give those people. I know that seat I just ran into, you can see. So, okay. So this is a super simple outline. Today we're going to talk through the five W's of door knocking and the how, because it is 101. So it's just kind of going to be a beginner kind of discussion about how to door knock, why, when, what you would bring with you, that kind of thing. So before we start, who in the room has door knocked for real estate before and who does it regularly? Okay, regularly. So you may find may hear some tips, you may have some things to contribute, and I love it if anybody wants to give ideas. Rob, have you done door knocking? Okay, do you do it anymore? Not at all. Heavens no. You should. It keeps you really sharp. So recently I did a series of blog posts on my blog about all the reasons that I door knock and just shared that publicly. But one of the things is I feel like it really keeps my skills and my questions, my ability to really hear people's kind of what their needs are and what their pain points are, because I'm talking to them in person, I'm seeing their body language. And because it's really on the fly, right? Like even if you have a script, you are still listening for things that will take you down a different script, depending on what the answers are. So who uses a script when they go door knocking for the two, or Rob, when you were door knocking? Have you ever gone door knocking, title human? So that was one thing I was going to talk about, and I was going to ask is, it may not make any sense, but title has a lot to offer when it comes to door knocking and what they can either provide for you prior to finding a home, or even just at the door. There are a lot of tips and tricks and information that title can provide for you. So script, yes. Yes, please ask me a question. Okay. So I was just waving to Ryan. If you want to know more door knocking, you can talk to him as well, because we come from kind of a similar background. With no soliciting, it's a little tricky, and we could talk a little bit more about it. There are some cities that require that you have a solicitor's like tag, and if you have a solicitor's tag, then you have to follow the rules of that, whatever their requirements are for being a solicitor. With doors that say no soliciting, I mean, sometimes I have knocked them and it's like a renter who never took it off of there, or like somebody who's lived there for 3 years who just never took the sign off. They didn't even know it was there, right? I've had other times where I've literally walked up to a glass storm door and knocked on the door, not seeing the sign because I just saw that the door was open, and the lady going, pointing to her sign. So, and I had one a couple weeks ago. I was knocking with Adrian, who I think is on here today, and we knocked in a condo complex, and we were letting people know, we had just put this home under contract. We had a few other people we had talked to during the open house that were interested in maybe upgrading in this complex. And a lady said to us, "Did you not see the sign out there at the road?" And I said, "Well, I did look because it's a complex, I did look." And she said, "There is no soliciting." And I said, "Well, I'm not soliciting. I'm just giving you information. I'm not asking for anything. You are going door to door." So people have kind of their thoughts about what soliciting actually is. And in that situation, about 5 minutes later, we walked past the dump area for their complex, and the sign was upside down, like it had rotted out and somebody had thrown it away. So it wasn't out front. We felt like picking it up and carrying it back to her, but we were not that spicy about it. So a little bit about me. I have been in real estate for 7 years, 7.5 years. And the reason I love door knocking is because when I started classes at the first company that I was with, there was a discussion about all sorts of different types of lead generation. So what are some lead generation types that you are involved in?
You can do leads, mailers, door knocking is also another one. You can do social networking is also another one if you're showing up to social events like birthdays, weddings, things like that.
Yeah, thank you, Brandy. So there are tons of ways to create leads. Social marketing, calling, door knocking. If you're not sure, or if you're new in real estate, you're not sure how to create leads, then Brandy has a bunch of good ideas. And door knocking is one of those for me where it's literally like I could just pull up in a neighborhood, dump myself out of my car, knock on the doors, and I've talked to more people that day than I did if I just stayed home in my jammies, right? So the idea of door knocking was really appealing to me because, and I need to know what time it is. Okay, so the idea of door knocking was really appealing to me because I tried phones for a little while, and it was really, really hard for me. And I know there's kind of a hump that you can get over with phones, but it was so uncomfortable for me that I literally would spend hours away from my family, coming to an office and finding ways to avoid talking on a phone all day long. And I'm a super social person, as Rob knows. So I would talk to agents all day long, which is super ineffective if you are trying to sell homes to, or get people to sell their homes with you, right? And so in these classes that I took, which was a series of new agent classes for training, the trainer had done a lot of effective door knocking when he was practicing, buying and selling of real estate. And it was really appealing to me. And there were some classes about effective door knocking, and he gave a lot of tips about effective door knocking. So what are some of the reasons that somebody might door knock?
I like to see their body language.
Okay, so you like to just see people up in person.
Text or email, and their body language speaks volumes.
Right. So seeing people in person is a reason that we like door knocking. Anyone else?
I feel like it's good because when they tell you no on the phone, you're trying to hurry up and come up with an objection. And when you're in person, they're telling you, "Oh no, I'm not interested. oh, and then you're like thinking of all the things that you can say, but it puts you on the spot and it makes you sharper. I feel like it's like one of those things, because your whole point there is to build a connection, to build something or to find something to connect with them on.
Yeah, so you door knock for the personal connection, and like we talked about, being kind of sharper at what your questioning, your answers, your responses. I missed your name. Heather. Okay.
I'm just saying it's go out with that. For us, it gives us on the title side an opportunity to see the property. We're looking at put things into context. For the agents, it gives them an opportunity to talk about specifics of the property.
Mhm.
They can see them. And now it's no longer about you nourishing right away. It's about their home and how well they've taken care of it and things like that. So it just kind of helps get through that.
I see that I have a high bidder over here with your flag. Yes,
Right.
Rob?
It's actually a couple things. So first off is the person that you're talking to is probably less likely to be as defensive or harsh with you. They're more apt to be aggressive on the phone versus in person. So there's that aspect of it. But then the other thing, and we talked about this ago, last few weeks or so, and that is you're able to use more communication skills. When you're only on the phone, you're only able to use about 45% of your communication skills. And when you're there in person, you can use 100% of your communication skills.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point. I know that there are people who are insanely effective on the phone and they have honed those skills. For me, it's hilarious because I door knock now, and I have literally since probably the first couple of months into my career. And people will ask, oh, are you a new agent? Because I'm out there door knocking, and I'm like, I feel like I'm using more of my skill set by being here in person in front of you than I would if I were calling you. But I mean, I think you have to just become so good at that 45%. And I was unwilling to do that. I just didn't want to, guys. That's the reality. I did not want to. I did not like it. It was so uncomfortable, and it wasn't a boundary that I cared to push. And when I knew that I could talk to, people just as effectively or more effectively by door knocking, I decided that I wanted to try that out. And I have actually loved it. I love people. I love talking to people in person. I love seeing their face. And I really, really love problem solving. So when people are throwing things at me, I'm like, well, I've got enough for that. There's like literally an answer for every single thing that somebody says to you at the door. So some of the reasons that we might go door knocking, and like information that we might give people, what are some things that you would say at the door, or reasons that you would knock somebody's door, something that you want to give them or ask them?
Is in to show me your house, and they're happy to show you their house. I'll show you every detail.
So you like that right there on the spot, you can ask. Okay, so but I'm more getting at when you knock on the door, what are you saying? So you have a script. Who said, yeah, thank you. So you have a listing, right? You have a listing in the area. And you want to let people know that you just listed a home. You have a buyer that's looking in a very specific area or price point or for a certain type of home. That's where you pull title in, because title will tell you who has a pool, who has a 3-car garage, who's lived in their home for 10 years and is most likely to move. Yeah, who's renting, yeah, a home, right. So we've sold a home. We have a home for sale. We are doing an open house this weekend. We have a buyer looking in a specific area. Or, sometimes if you don't have like a reason, you just go out and you take a lender with you, you take a title person, and you give people information, because, once in a while, the information you see on the news is skewed and people are confused, and, that kind of thing happens. So you want to give people good information. So I do want to move forward into your very, very limited outline there. But one thing that has been talked about for a long time is farming. Who does farming for real estate? By flyers or by doors? How do you do farming? I'm with postcards. And how effective has it been for you? Okay. And does it cost you money every time you do it? Okay. So with farming is fabulous. What I have learned about farming, and some of the most effective agents and well-paid agents farm areas. What I've learned about farming is that it can be quite expensive. And this is not a class on farming, but it's just to say that if I have information about an open house, I'm taking like a little flyer with me, right? It's not costing me really anything to do that. Sometimes I don't take anything with me. I don't take a business card. I take nothing with me because I'm trying to get other people's information. But when farming takes place, the most effective agents that I have run into are going through that neighborhood very rapidly, right? They're going back through and back through and back through, and their face is everywhere. They are sponsoring every team, their faces on benches, their faces on buses, their faces on the football field, their faces on the shopping carts. And so there is a cost to door knocking if you are farming a neighborhood as your door knocking like opportunity. It doesn't mean that you can't be super effective. It doesn't mean you aren't going to make that money back multi-fold. It just means that there is going to be more of an upfront cost. So let's move into the how of door knocking. How do I prepare? So this is why I gave you guys the outline, is if you just want to jot notes or you think of something, how do you prepare to go door knocking? So for those who do door knock, or anybody is allowed to talk, you don't have to have door knocked before you're allowed to speak. How would you prepare to go door knocking?
With mine, I usually take a notebook, business cards I'll put in my pocket, and then I also have flyers created that gives me a talking point, just depending on if they're a buyer or a seller, and really giving them statistic numbers of like, hey, if you're paying rent at $2,300, this is what it looks like over time. That's the most recent one that I did with the lender, versus owning and what that looks like over time. So that just gives them informative information. If they're renting, if they're already a buyer and they own the home, then at that point I'm like, oh, okay, well, how long have you lived here? But I just go into like the original, like the key points, obviously, but then you want to get them talking.
Yeah. So Brandy, it sounds like Brandy goes out with a script or an idea or a plan for the day, and then just really tries to stay on top of the information as far as having to lead or guide the conversation in different ways. So when you're door knocking, I like to say that I stole this, obviously. There's no bad weather. There are only bad clothing items, right? But that is a total lie if you lived through 5 months of winter. And every day that you wanted to go out, it was snowing actively, not like it snowed last night and people plowed their side or, clean their sidewalks. This winter has been very, very rough, but there have been winters where it's just been very frozen outside. And I've gone out 2 pairs of pants, two pairs of socks, boots, scarf, hat, everything, and just went right through the winter. And then this winter, it really was rough for that kind of activity. But in the summertime, obviously you want to take sunscreen with you, you want to take water with you. You might need a snack at some point, a notebook, like Brandy said, a little flyer, business cards, whatever you think that you're going to want to give to people. I've gotten feedback recently from someone who had a lender who had someone knock their door, and he said it would have been way more effective. You can tell me what personality type this is. It would have been way more effective if this person had come to my door with information about my house and information about all the homes in the neighborhood. And I was like, Josh, that super creeps people out. People do not want you to have that much information ahead of time, even though it's public information. They don't want to know that you know that much about their situation. So for certain personality types, you are never going to hit like everybody, right? And this leads into kind of the who, but I like to knock with a partner at the door. I did not for a long time, and it can be another realtor, it can be somebody who's in finance, it can be somebody in title, but a lot of times, and I'm gonna say the book Versatile Selling is probably one of the best books I've ever read. If you haven't read it, write it down and read it, because it gives you information about being able to identify different communication styles and different personality types. And you can make a switch really quickly when you start hearing certain cues from people. But having a partner that maybe balances you allows you to start a conversation, then realize suddenly like you're the person that's a little too loud and energetic, and this other person's going to bring all of the account information or financial information, or the other way around. This person's going to come in and they're going to be more amiable. They're going to be asking some questions. They're going to start to let the person off the hook. And you're going to be the person that steps in and says, no, we're not letting this person go yet, because I'm hearing these other cues that this person's giving that they do actually want to make a change in their life or make a move. Sometimes you need a bodyguard. I don't know that my door knocking partners would be effective as bodyguards, but at least one of us could kick a small dog. So So how do you choose a neighborhood when you go door knocking? The way that we would choose a neighborhood would be based on some of the reasons that we might go door knocking, right? So we might be knocking for a specific reason, like an open house, like a just listed, just sold. We might be looking for something. One of the things to be cognizant of if you're just going to dump yourself out of your car and pick a neighborhood is kind of what the demographic might be of that neighborhood. If you go to a home, if you go to an area, which I have done before, where it's predominantly going to be 2-income families, and you're knocking at 11 o'clock in the morning, every 40th house is going to answer the door. And I've been in that situation before. We've knocked for an hour and like one person has opened a door. So you might want to look at some statistics of areas that you are considering just to see if these are, areas where you might find more 2-income families. And also, you're going to hit somebody at some point, right? But possibly, do you want to go during school drop-off times and school, pickup times? Those are really rough times to get people that are home, and also annoying times to be wandering through neighborhoods. One time I was doing a neighborhood at school drop-off. The school was literally at the top of a hill, and all the children at school, like school exit, just come flooding down the hill. And there was a candy lady in the neighborhood, believe it or not, this elderly woman who gave candy to the children every day after school. So all of the children, and I happened to be right in front of her house when this happened, all of these elementary school children come flooding down the hill. They pass their parents waiting for them, run past, and they're all going to this one lady's house. It's a super awkward time because all these people were standing outside waiting for their kids. And it was a weird time to be trying to talk to people about real estate. So being cognizant of the time of day that you go is important too. Let's see, how do you start or steer a conversation? So for those who do door knock, or maybe those who are having ideas and thoughts right now, what might you say when you knock on the door to somebody? Open the door. Hi. Yes, hello. Good. You did it. Okay, yes. Oh, okay.
I'm just door knocking in your neighborhood and I just wanted to talk to you. And then I listen at first.
Okay.
Because I don't know why, but people tell me everything.
Likes to talk about themselves for sure. And in the back here, I didn't catch your name in the corner. Right here, who said she had door knocking experience.
Me?
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. You don't have to apologize to me. What's your name? Minette. And how do you start a conversation at the door? Oh, okay. So you do, okay.
Usually I'm inviting them to come to like a client appreciation event or something that I'm having. And when I knock on the door, I just said, hi, it's Minette. I am originally with Presidio. I'm actually your neighbor as well. And I live down the street and I just wanted to let you know that I'm having this event.
And then right here, you said you send out postcards and you sometimes knock. What is it that you say to people?
Usually it's for an event too.
Okay.
Or like the home buyers class or.
Okay. So hopefully today you can take away a little bit of like how to use that skill, but build it out a bit more. And it feels like when you're knocking for an event, it's really easy to talk to people, but when you really want them to sell their home with you, then your script is going to change, right? So yeah.
More often than I have to maybe go with you. We can like put a list together.
Yeah.
Agents that are wanting to door knocking together and that live in similar areas.
It would be a really good idea. I did this class a couple of weeks ago at the South Jordan office, and then people said that they wanted to do a door knocking group. I would think just to put it on the Presidio family page and say, I live. The other thing is to consider talking to, Rob's going to leave my class. How rude. Sorry. Please take back my happy birthdays. I know Rob, not just from here. So goodbye. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes. So I think to post and just say the other thing is you can talk to your lender or talk to a home warranty person or talk to somebody who's not in real estate who can go with you. And that might change your script as well.
I feel like
No, okay, so I know. So yes, and I do want to I know they do sometimes think that
He stands at the bottom of the stairs, literally. and I go and they will not open the door for me.
So, yeah, so I don't think that it's not intimidating, but you have to be able to work it properly, right? So I do want to make sure that you guys get the information that's on here. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. My phone number is on the top of your notes there. So I'm getting, it's like I had too much time today. Last time I was rushed because I didn't have enough time. So okay, so I'm going to go down this and maybe some of the questions will be answered. So how do I start a conversation? So scripting is super important, and scripts can be super, super simple at the door. The script at the door is, hi, my name is Timbra. I'm with Presidio Real Estate, or hi, my name is Timbra. This is Adrian or Jeff. They're on right now. So I do door knock with them, or Mike, my husband. My name is Timbra. This is Mike. We're with Presidio Real Estate. We're in your neighborhood today because we have a buyer who's looking for a home, and we're wondering who you know, not do you want to, who you know that's been thinking about selling a home in the area. And sometimes they'll say sorry, sometimes they'll say no, sometimes they'll say not me. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm not actually asking you, because they don't listen to your question, right? You want to keep it super simple. You want it to be concise. You want to make sure that you move through your words very quickly. The words, just get rid of it. Just get rid of that. Get it out of your vocabulary, because it's a lie. You're not just here to do this or just here to do that. Just get rid of it. So when you knock at the door, it should be concise. It should be clear. You don't use a lot of language. Don't be convoluted. Don't ask people how they are. Right? Don't ask people how they are. Yeah, it's once in a while. And I do go with people who kind of sometimes feel like, oh, there's a nicety there by asking people. And sometimes if somebody's like taking a long time to get to the door, I might ask, like, as I see them walking, or they're dealing with their dog or something. But in general, it's just, this is my name. This is who I'm with. This is why I'm here today.
For friendly.
But no, do not ask people how they are. Do not ask them how they are. Do not ask them, please. Oh, no, I don't ask their name. I don't ask their name. Pre-COVID, I used to shake people's hands. I don't do it anymore. I mean, I think it's just kind of gone out of our culture and in general. I might, in the middle of a conversation, once they've given me a little bit of information, oftentimes I do step forward and say, and what was your name again? And shake their hand at that point. That because it's natural and it works, but it doesn't work as well to just launch in there with a handshake anymore. As far as like where to stand, two people, that sort of thing. I was taught this by a 6'4" like human, that you want to, if there's a step, you want to step down one, and that way when they open the door, you can step into them. But if you're already standing at the top of the stoop and then they like open the door, you have nowhere to go to move in towards them with familiarity. So you want to, so you've taken away all of the like extra space you can make, right? So you just stand back a little bit, let them open the door, and then you can lean forward, you can step up, whatever seems appropriate at the time. Okay, let's move. How long should I door knock for? How long?
2 hours.
2 hours is a really great amount of time. I find that after 2 hours, you've either found a conversation that's super long that you get into and you get exhausted by that, or 2 hours is just like, you just start to kind of lose energy, right? Now, if you're the kind of person who's like, if I go eat lunch and I feel better, I can come back for a second round, then maybe you do that. Or maybe if you have 2 open houses this weekend, or you've got some information for 2 neighborhoods or something like that. But 2 hours is a really good amount of time. I've done marathon door knocking, like 6 hours, like we're just going to go, we're going to get it. And I know agents who have been out at 10 o'clock at night because they have a particular goal for the day, right? And I didn't say this, but the caveat for door knocking and the caveat for answering these questions is always going to be, it depends on your goal, right? So let me ask, how long does it take to, and then how many times per week would you go door knocking? Yeah, 3 is a really, yeah. Are you once a week? You go once a week. But you would like to. What kinds of other lead generation do you do? Okay. Do you spend a lot of time on the phone?
Past clients.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. I don't cold call. I hate it. Super hate it.
I go 2 to 3 times a week is what our goal has been. And then my goal when I go 2 to 3 times a week, we usually only go for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, just like you said. And my goal is to at least get one solid person. And then and at least maybe 1 or 2 that are in the interested category.
Yeah, so that really brings up a good point, Brandy. And so 2 hours a day, it's up to you, right? But 2 hours a day, 3 to 4 times a week is a really good number. If you could do 5 times a week, it's great. But I would say that right now, like my door knocking partners and I, we work to do 2 hours for 3 times a week. That's kind of our general goal. This week, we went yesterday for 45 minutes because somebody's having a bad day, but you're like, you know what, we're gonna get out there and talk to 5 people because 5 people is more than no people. And there is a number that says the number of people you talk to each day is a number of transactions you will do in a year. So if you keep that in mind, then your goal might be different, right? So if your goal is to go for a certain amount of time, a certain number of days, your goal is, like Brandy said, to get a really solid lead. Sometimes your goal is to get an appointment for the day. So you just keep going until these things happen for you, right? When you're starting out, doing a couple of hours a day, couple of days a week is a really good start because it just gets you in the rhythm. It gets you flexing the muscle. But once you flex the muscle enough, then you're out there and you can really be like more effective in your conversations with people. Sure. Can I finish this first? And then, because I have 7 minutes and I have 5 categories to go through. No, we're it's okay. Last time I was told I would have like 25 to 35 minutes, not here. And then like all of the vendors, there were so many questions for the lender that day because there's so many lender things going on right now that I had like 15 minutes. And I was like, and now I'm like, oh, so that's okay. No, don't apologize. Please never apologize to me unless you've actually hurt me. Okay, how long does it take to convert a lead? I would say generally 6 months to convert a lead at doors. It may be faster if somebody is like, I'm on a month to month and I just started looking at houses yesterday and right. So sometimes there is a quickness to this, but a lot of times if somebody's going to sell their home with you, they're going to need you to hold their hand for a little bit longer. If they are a buyer that you pick up at the door, they may take a little bit longer to go through the lending process. And so 6 months is a good amount of time. So don't assume if you go door knocking today, you're going to have somebody close by the end of May. It can happen. It doesn't always happen, right? Who do I door knock? So this is how I choose a neighborhood. So choosing who to door knock is essentially the same process. Who and how in this question are less important than that you door knock, right? Who you door knock, where you door knock, what you say, all of that is less important than just getting up, going, dumping yourself into a neighborhood if you have to, okay? I love, maybe 0 people pick up the phone for you, right? Maybe, but almost never. I don't know that I've ever gone somewhere where 0 people answered the door, right? Within an hour. Now I've been to neighborhoods, like I said, where very few people opened the door, but I don't know that I've ever been somewhere where 0. Yesterday I went for 45 minutes and we talked to like, I think at least 2 people in the 45 minutes, and so almost never do 0 people, but 0 people might pick up the phone. And I'm not going to say that you should not do the phones if you are effective at the phones or you like that part of your business, but especially like in cold calling situations, we are getting more and more technology that's going to keep people from answering the phone, right? So making sure that our skills are honed for interpersonal contact is going to be important for our job moving forward. And then who do I door knock with? We talked a little bit about that. Make sure you write down the book Versatile Selling. What do I bring? Brandy talked about it. A notebook, business cards, magnets, flyers. What do I say? So avoid or have a short script, avoid asking someone how they are, introduce yourself. So we can do it really quick right now. So are you the owner?
Yes.
Okay. I knocked on the door.
Really enthusiastic.
Okay. I knocked on the door. It's taking you 5 minutes to get to the door. That's right. No, it's okay. Go ahead. I mean, just so you know, it's a weird angle. Yeah. Go ahead, side. Hey, my name's Timbra. I'm with Presidio Real Estate. I'm in the neighborhood today because I have a buyer. He's been renting for a long time in the neighborhood and looking to buy something close by. Who do you know that's looking to sell their home in the near future?
Oh, man. Think of anybody right now. But
Okay, so this is an amiable person, right? They're really trying hard to work for you to think about who it might be. You don't have anybody in mind right now. And how about you? Have you thought about a move? Actually, don't ask that. I say, and how about you? How long have you been in your home?
7 years.
7 years. And is it working out for you still?
Yes.
Okay. If there was anything you'd like to change about the home, what would it be?
More area, like more acreage.
Oh, okay. So more land around you, a little bit more space to run. Okay, cool. And have you thought about your next move, where that would be to?
We're thinking Florida, kind of like, yeah.
You're thinking about Florida and the future.
Anchorage.
Yeah, it's okay.
Great, I'm not gonna question that.
So you're thinking, so then you just repeat it back to somebody, right? So you would like to move to Florida and you would like more space around you.
Here in Utah.
Okay.
Maybe like do have part-time and
So you're thinking about maybe
part-time here.
keeping a home here and then, sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. I don't usually do that, but okay, I'm just trying to move quickly along. So, okay, and is there anything that's keeping you here right now? What's the timeline for you?
So we have a daughter graduating next year,
Mhm.
and so we've kind of just been hanging out until all of the kids are gone.
Okay, so in about a year, your last one will fly the nest. And that's going to be a time that you're going to be deciding if you want to stay in Utah or maybe part-time Florida and Utah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Well, and then this is where I would maybe try to convert them into giving me their phone number, that kind of thing. So again, if your goal is getting information from people, you're going to work really hard at your goal. So be careful what you set for your goal for the day. If you say, I want to talk to 30 people, you're going to go to the door and you're going to be like, okay, cool, thanks. Well, I appreciate it. Doesn't sound like you're moving now, right? And I'm going to wander off. But if my goal is to get 5 phone numbers for the day, then I'm going to say, well, it doesn't sound like you're ready right now. One of the things that I do is work with a referral network across the country. Is there a time that you're going to be going to Florida to maybe check out like where you want to live in the near
I've
future?
already been there twice.
Okay.
So we kind of know the area, like Fort Myers.
Yeah.
Area, Cape Coral, maybe.
Okay, so the Fort Myers, Cape Coral.
Yeah.
I would love to put you in contact with somebody who, and so you can then kind of then work that lead to say, could I get your number? I've got connections there. You can lie. It doesn't matter about the connections, but you don't have to lie about it. You can just say, I work with, that's right. I work with you. Okay. So does that help a little bit? Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, is that what you run into? You probably don't run into that.
I do those kinds of things, all sorts of weird stuff, all the time. Okay, I have one a minute and I don't know how to turn this off. So people are just going to disappear, but I'm happy to stay and talk with you, but I do want to let these guys go. So again, what are my goals at the door? Am I working to get phone numbers, number of contacts? Am I trying to get somebody to set an appointment with? What do I say? Using your script. Your script is all questions. Your script is just constantly saying, okay, yeah, so I hear you saying this. Let me ask you another question. Let me ask you another question. What rules do I have for myself? When I go door knocking, I require that I ask 3 questions before I let somebody like close the door on my face. So even if they are like not being very amiable to me and they're like, not interested, whatever, they're kind of slowly, I try to still get in 3 questions. If I can't, I can't. But even if someone just seems like this is not going to go anywhere real fast, there's just nothing to say, then I still try to ask a couple of questions of the person to leave on a good note and again, to keep my business practices sharp. So we talked, yes. No, we can talk about that after, but no, my follow-up for that kind of thing is I don't know. Where do I door knock? So are you farming an area? Do you feel safe in the area? Do you want to pick up buyers? Should you consider a cost of home based on the median home values and how fast or something like slow something is going to sell right now? Do you know an area very, very well? And then we will move on to, do you want to know an area well? Do you want to become an expert in an area? You might have to do a little bit of research to become, suddenly an expert, but it won't take a super long time if you door knock that area repeatedly. When should I door knock? All year long, as often as you can talk yourself into getting out of the house. I love 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, but 1 or 2 in the afternoon works really well too. We overthink these things. So someone's always home. People work from home. Some people are kindergarten drop off. Some people the other kids are at school all day. Some people, there's all sorts of reasons people would be home. Someone's retired. So don't worry too much about the time of day. Don't worry too much about where you go. But again, just get going. School times, like I said, are times that I might avoid. But I know agents who've been out there until 9 o'clock at night because the soliciting rules, I think, allow you to knock on doors until like 9 or 10 at night. I don't know what they are because I don't follow them. Is it 9 to 9? sometimes you just give in at the end of the day because your energy is done or spent, you know, and it's okay. Again, talking to 1 or 5 people is more than 0 people. We've talked a lot about why somebody might door knock. And so it would be a really good idea to create some short scripts for yourself about like for a few scenarios, right? So the most important things, because I'm going to say really quickly, there is a script for every type of door knocking. There is a FSBO script. There is a script for NODs. It's a really sensitive script, and there's actually an idea of how to approach those. A notice of default. Yeah, so you go and yeah, so there is a script. It's a really sensitive and short script. And the suggestion in those situations is like you knock that door and then like 5 on each side and 10 across the street, and then you just move to a different neighborhood. So if you really want to try to convert and like notice of defaults, that's where you want to go. Then you might do that for like, you know, you just do your 20 houses and you go, your 20 houses and you go. And then you just do multiple neighborhoods in the same day. Because you don't want to just drive around to the one house. You want to actually make the door knocking effective. So you want to try for that. So don't think too hard about it. Just go. Set your intention, but make sure that you understand that your goal is what you're going to achieve for that day. So if it's just to get out and go and get more familiar and feel better about it, if it's to get, you know, a buyer, if it's to get an open house information out. But if you're just going out to talk about an event, that's all you're going to talk about. You're not going to convert people to buying and selling a home, and they're going to associate you with events and things, but they're not going to associate you with being the professional in real estate. You don't have to go forever. You just go until you can't stand it anymore. You go until you reach your goal. You go for a certain amount of time. Create and use a script. Make sure that you ask questions and keep asking questions. I have a 3-question minimum requirement for myself. You can share an anecdote to connect, but then jump back to questions and making sure that you're letting them talk about themselves. Try for information at least 3 times. Try to get their phone contact or whatever 3 times before you give anything out. So you can bring your cards or whatever. If they ask you for one, you say, oh, sure. And you dig around for it. And then you keep asking questions while you dig. And then you kind of like let that go and they're answering your questions. And then they're like, oh, wait, did you have a card? Oh, yeah. You know, try a couple of times to get their contact information before you give anything out. Sometimes if you really want to hone this, you just don't take anything with you. You literally are like, sorry, I don't have my information with me. And then you don't really need excuses to come back. I don't have a card with me, but I'd be happy to grab your phone number. Can I grab your phone number? So then, yeah, shoot me a text with your number. If they have a business, do you have a business card? That's the easiest way to get somebody's phone number. Keep it light, have a good time. It doesn't have to be serious, it doesn't have to be droll. Bring a partner with you. And the most important thing to understand is that any lead generation is that if you don't have a solid follow-up plan, all leads are dead leads, right? So we could talk a little bit about follow-up, but that's kind of the end of this one. I struggle with follow-up, but you also have to make rules for yourself about who you will and won't be allowing to take your time in the long term. The last thing I wanted to say is if you are working on your social media content right now, you have an awesome opportunity if you're not already using this. When you door knock, it's a great time to be like out in the neighborhood, you know, with your partner, whatever, explain why you're doing door knocking. That's great. But also when you come to these sales meetings, it's a really great time to use like, oh, we had a lender today. Let's do a lender post. Let's do a home warranty post. The sprinkler guy, the fan, title can help you with this information. So in these meetings, if you're struggling for social posts, then what you're doing is what you want to post. And I'm not a social guru, but I'm working on it. But the one thing I will say is that when you are out door knocking, you may get no clients from door knocking, but your energy will transfer to the people that you do know. Through being excited to post online, they see you posting about real estate more frequently. They see you giving tips and tricks and ideas and up-to-date information about lending because you're excited and that's what you're sharing to the public when you door knock. So you may not get leads from door knocking for a while, but your enthusiasm and energy will transfer over to your conversations with people in person that you know already, your social media, your social marketing, that kind of thing. So I think the most important thing with lead generation overall is just that you're doing something, because when you're doing something, you feel excited about your business. When you're not doing something, you feel bad about yourself. You feel bad about your business. You hate real estate. You hate people. And then that comes out across to everyone as well. So do I have any questions online? I know I'm a couple minutes over. Any questions in the room? I appreciate, Brandy, all of your input. It sounds like you do a lot of door knocking. Yes. So I can talk through some scripts, but it's really best if you create your own kind of simple script. So I'm happy to talk about that after. Does anybody else have anything? Okay, I'm just gonna leave now. I think I'm just gonna leave this.
I have a question real quick. Can you email me the information that you handed out, or is there like a printout?
Oh,
that you
the
can email over?
information I handed out is like, okay, the information I handed out was skeleton. Can you see right here? Can you see right here? It was like.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see what you did.
It was
Okay.
literally
Yep.
what, where, and why, and my phone number, just because people will have their own ideas, like that will kind of come up. If anybody is interested in doing a door knocking group or going in a one-on-one, I'm happy to coordinate that with you. So, okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.